All right, I want to thank everybody for tuning a special edition Steel City Sports World. I got the normal crew, Claudio, Smokin, Jim, and we got the one and only, back from the past, who started this show 20 years ago, McKees Port, Phil Williams. Thank you guys for coming on, man. I'm happy. You know, it's a tough time, but I'm glad that we have the technology. We could do this, man. This is going to take us. I see some great things coming from this, man. Thank you
Great to
guys for
see you
coming on.
guys. Missed you, and good to see you, Phil.
Hey,
Hey,
thank you.
hey,
I'm
it's
glad
always
to be
good.
here, guys. Glad to
It's
be here.
always good to see Phil. He hired me for Steel City Sports World. I've always been appreciative of that.
Okay, he hired you. Hey, but listen, this is our draft.
That's right, Smokin. That's right,
This is our
Smokin.
draft show, man. And we know Smoker Jim always he's way over here, and Phil is way over here. And right in the middle, I'm usually right. Me and Claudio, right in the middle,
Oh,
right.
come on.
But listen, the second round pick, I get the pleasure of talking about this guy. You look at his measurables. Chase Claypool, 6'4", 235 pounds, running a 4.42. The only other player that big, that size to run a 4.42 is Calvin Johnson in the history of the NFL Combine. I think this guy's terrific. When they first drafted, I was very, very upset. I wanted J.K. Dobbins from Ohio State. I thought he could have been that running back that could have been an every down guy. But the more and more I look at this guy and study him, man, he looks really fantastic. Ben likes a big receiver. Every time he has a big receiver, he usually has better success. He made Martavis Bryant, Plexico Burris. All these guys were big, but they didn't have the speed. Well, Martavis had the speed, but he didn't have the weight and girth of this Chase Claypool. I think he can score about 5 or 6 touchdowns this year, maybe about 700 yards, and he could be that deep threat that we don't have. Where you could just throw it up in the end zone, and he would just go get it. I'm very impressed with that pick. When they drafted, I was upset. I gave it a B. I gave it a C, but now I give it a solid B. I think that was the right move, in my opinion. I want to throw it over to Phil, and then we'll go Claudio and Smoke and Jim. Phil, what are your thoughts about Claypool?
To be honest with you, Luther, I feel the same. I like the pick. When I started, reading my draft digest, reading all my draft stuff, Claypool was somebody that intrigued me because of the size and the speed. Plus, here's some of the intangibles that I love about him. He loves to block. He loves to blast us. Those are the kind of things that are going to open up. And the other thing is with him and Ebron, those two are going to be a mismatch nightmare. They're going to be nightmares. Big Ben is loving this. The only thing about Big Ben that scares me is the $41 million owed to him next year. That's what scares me. But the pick, love it.
Okay. What grade do you give that? Just if you're just going on that pick, second round, who was available?
Well, just for that pick right there, I'm going to give it a B+.
Okay.
And like you said, I thought about Dobbins, but when you sit back after the draft and see what we did, in the fourth round, this pick was even greater.
Okay. Good. Hey, we just had Kelly Russell, the political assassin, that joined us. Kelly, thanks for coming on, man.
What's up,
Not
Kelly?
not a problem, fellas. Glad to be here.
Hey, we're just going right now. I don't know how long you could be with us, but we're just talking about the second round pick, Chase Claypool. I gave my analysis. Phil gave his. We got Claudio, Smoke, and Jim, and then we want your opinion on that, all right?
All right, that's fine.
All right, Claudio, what do you got for us?
It isn't that I don't like Claypool. I think he's a good player. He comes from a good program, obviously. Big guy who can run, like you said. I'm still not sure if Roethlisberger is going to be the guy throwing to him. I still say if you ask Roethlisberger to go back and throw 40 sometimes a game, that's risky. I'm old school. I like running game. I like Dobbins. I think they should have picked him. But since you got him, I think Claypool, I was big on Pittman, but Claypool runs better than Pittman. Right. So I'm going to say that was a good pick as far as wide receivers are concerned, that deep in the draft. As far as a grade, I've gone back and forth. I'll give him a B, being generous. I'll give him a B. But again, I still would have liked to I still would have gotten a running back Again, because you're going to ask Ben to go back there all the time, 40-some times a game. And is he going to be able to take that pounding? Is he going to be able to throw like that? Who knows? But, again, have nothing against the draft pick himself.
Mm-hmm.
I just would have gone after a back. And now not only did they not get that back, but he went to the team that you're chasing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that was a double whammy.
And that's something real quick. I said this before on another show. Years ago when the Yankees were making a playoff push, they purposely got Jose Canseco so the Red Sox wouldn't get him. They purposely got Cecil Fielder so the Red Sox wouldn't get him.
Mm-hmm.
And not necessarily that they needed them, but they didn't want the Red Sox to get him. In this case, I think the Steelers needed Dobbins, and it would have been good to keep him away from Baltimore. Now Baltimore has him. So it's like you said, a double whammy.
Right. What grade would you give that? You give that a B or a C, or what do you?
I'm going to be
A?
generous. I think before I said C+, considering everything, but about the player himself, I'll give him a B.
Okay. All right, Smokin' Jim, what do you got for us here?
Hey, thanks, Luther. I think you and Claudio and especially Phil nailed it when Phil said about the block, and the guy's an outstanding blocker. Hey, listen, man. The Pittsburgh Steelers just got maybe the 4 best young receivers for Ben Roethlisberger. You know, you got Claypool, you got Johnson, you got comeback catching James Washington, and you got an all-pro in Juju Smith-Schuster. And like Phil said about Ebron, he's going to be outstanding if he can stay healthy. Don't forget we got Vance McDonald. So not only you got big targets, you got, Deontay Johnson that can return punts. He can catch the short passes and turn them into something really special. So from an offensive standpoint, that was the steal of the draft. I got to give getting Chase Claypool that pick at an A++ for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Okay. All right, Kelly.
Wow. Oh, man. Well, I'm more on the Claudio side. First of all, I'm not going to act like I watch a ton of college football. And truly, I'm not going to act like I watch a ton of Notre Dame college football.
Right.
So as soon as they said Chase Claypool, my natural reaction was, who? And let me get all my punch out on the Steelers draft, because I'm out here doing Uber Eats. I'm out here grinding, and I ain't got a lot of time. To be bluntly honest, I'm going to go back 1 year ago when they made moves to go get Devin Bush. They also got, I like the draft pick of Benny Snell. I'm trying to think who else they got last year.
Deontay Johnson, the receiver.
It wasn't him. I'm not going to act like I knew much about him, but he panned out well. However, I think of how happy I was at last year's draft.
Right.
You turn this around a year later, and to be bluntly honest, I'm pissed off. I am pissed off at the Steelers.
Surprise, Kelly.
Huh?
I said that's a big surprise. You're pissed off.
Yeah, exactly. And Claudio really summed up my whole feelings. Dobbins was on the board. You need a running back. You should have gotten Dobbins. And the thing that pisses me the most off about it is that Dobbins went to Baltimore.
Right.
And I can't get over that. Any other team takes him, I'm cool. But guess what? You got to see this dude twice a year at a minimum. At a minimum, you'll have to see this guy twice a year. But considering how sucky I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be over the next few years and how good the Baltimore Ravens, I feel, are going to be over the next few years, you'll probably only see Baltimore twice a year, because I don't see playoffs in the Steelers' future anytime soon.
Ooh.
And that's just, and I know people somewhat are happy. They've been already talking about the schedule or whatnot. Let's get to the real. And I know this is about the draft, but let's talk about the real elephant in the room, the fact that you've got a 38-year-old quarterback coming off of arm surgery when you only saw him play a game and a half last year, and he didn't look great.
He didn't tear it up. That's right. That's right.
Good point.
The elephant in the room.
Exactly.
You know what?
You got people out here on the radio and whatnot trying to act like once Ben comes back, everything is gonna be all right. Yes, Ben threw for 5,000 yards. Yes, he had a great season 2 years ago. and he didn't look that great last year, and I know it was a game and a half. I'm not happy about Ben. I still have questions on the offensive line. He might have some offensive weapons, but if Ben's not around, who's the quarterback you're going to trust to get the ball to these offensive weapons?
Yeah, I don't like Duck or Mason Rudolph. I hear you,
Can I
Kelly.
chime in? Can I chime in, Luther?
Jump in real quick.
Just a real quick point. Just a real quick point. The thing about Big Ben, real quick first, is that what you're saying could very well be true, but also we have to realize that elbow injury was not something that just started last year.
Mm-hmm.
That elbow injury was something that's been lingering for a while. So now with the lack of playing last year and getting that surgery all done, we don't know what the product's going to be. Now also back to DK Dobbins, we have to look too, and I know Smokin Jim can really, feel this. Whenever somebody tends to fall like they kind of did, there's something going on more than what we're all seeing. And you figure Dobbins was kind of falling. At one time he was considered the number one back. So he kind of failed, so there's got to be something going on. Two is that I believe what Claudio said is right. Baltimore probably took DK Dobbins because we liked him, okay? But when you think about this now, though, guys, I don't know how much of DK Dobbins we're going to see because we got to remember Ingram's there, but Gus Edwards is the Steeler killer, okay? Mm-hmm. And Justice Hill is still there as well. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not really fretting too much on the DK Dobbins right now.
Okay. All right, Kel, you want to jump in and finish up real quick?
I can finish up. So I will say Claypool does have measurables that I like. The size, he's not necessarily the fastest guy in the world, but hey, he's got the size. I'm hoping we can see something like we used to see from Ben and Plex back in the day, a tall physical wide receiver. And the fact that he's a great blocking wide receiver will have Steeler Nation screaming, "Hey, Hines Ward's back, y'all." So anything with the draft, truly time will tell. But I like I said, I'm going with my initial reaction from the Steelers. I just got questions. And I think personally the Steelers got a lot of respect fan-wise, and I don't know if respect's the right word I'm looking for here. But I feel the fact that you lost Ben, you finished 8-8, and at one point you were 5-3, and we're still competing, for a playoff seed up until the final week of the season says a lot about Tomlin, the team, and some of the personnel. However, after that draft, I just got a lot of question marks, but that's just me.
Okay. All right, Kel, man, I hear you, man. We're going to jump to the next one. But
hey, Luke,
yeah, jump in.
Let me ask you a question before you do that. The Steelers issued Chase Claypool, and by the way, Kelly, great job. They issued Chase Claypool number 11. Do you think the Steelers see some similarities between him and Larry Fitzgerald?
Ooh. That's saying a lot. I mean, he's a big guy. He's even faster than Larry. I think they're really impressed with this guy. Going by what Kevin Colbert said, he fell in love with him after watching him. Senior Bowl, he really impressed a lot of people. And it didn't matter who was on the board, they were going to take him. And after getting past my feelings about J.K. Dobbins, I think he has potential. But yeah, you give him number 11. That's pretty big. Remember the last number 11 we had around here?
That's what I thought Smokin Jim was going to say.
I don't know. The last number 11 we had around here, we had some questions about. So
he couldn't catch a cold.
Right. Let's hope his hands are better. Hey, but that brings us to the third round pick. Smokin Jim, why don't you lead us on this, man? What were your thoughts on Alex Highsmith?
Well, I'll lead off with he's been issued number 56 by the Pittsburgh Steelers, so you'll see him at number 56. Hey, listen, you guys are patting Kevin Colbert on the back again. When Kevin Colbert steps down, I hope they get rid of his son Dan too. Listen, Pittsburgh Steelers got one of the best defenses in football. They didn't have many draft picks this year, so they used a very, very high draft pick on the outside linebacker for the simple reason Dan Colbert, Kevin Colbert's son that they've been practicing nepotism with, he has been scouting the MAC conference and drafting players for the last 4 or 5 years that haven't panned out from Toledo and Akron. You know, they went all the way to the CCAC in North Carolina, to a college called Charlotte, that couldn't keep Louisville under 100 points. You know what I mean? This is a former walk-on player. Listen, where is he going to play? You got the best linebacker in Pittsburgh Steelers history in T.J. Watt. And on the other side, you got 6'4", 270 pounds, Bud Dupree that runs a 4.5 40 that's coming into his own. You're set at outside linebacker. If you only got a 1 year or 2 years with Big Ben, like they're thinking, of course, I believe that the best quarterback on the team is Duck. But if you're going with Ben and you only got a small window, why are you drafting a guy at best that's going to play special teams for you? So I give that pick a D- because it's not going to help at all in 2020.
All right, we're going back to Phil, and we'll go to Claudio after that. Phil, you know you went off video, right?
I'm not sure, but as long as you hear my voice, I'm okay.
You ain't with Earl Thomas's brother, are you?
Now I'm going to tell you my opinion with what Smokin said. Am I still here?
You're still there?
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. With what Smokin said, all right, I kind of feel it about the defense, but here's why I think it was a good pick. Once again, Highsmith was a player that everybody in the AFC North was looking at, okay? They all were impressed with him. If you do the research, they all loved him. He's a high motor. He's a good character young man. In my opinion, the reason why you take him is back to, are we going to sign Dupree? What you said is key. We have to make T.J. Watt the highest paid linebacker in the NFL. We cannot do that. We cannot do that and still pay Bud Dupree 15 to 20 million, because if he does go off again this year, he's going to want the same kind of money that he wants. Keeping it real. And then we got to still understand. We got Devin Bush. We got Mika still got a couple of years. There's too many key players to pay that. So we got to hope that a Highsmith does pan out or Ola does pan out. So I think that pick was just something for the future. But think about it. Chicolo played a lot wearing 56 last year. So if this 56 can play the same reps Chicolo did and do something, it's a plus.
Good point. Okay. Good point, Phil.
Okay. What was your grade on that? What was your grade on that?
I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna stick in the B.
You said a B?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. All right, Claudio.
I'm with Jim as far as how much you're going to use him. A third-round pick should be somebody who really has impact, in my opinion. Again, back to Roethlisberger. You have a small window. In my opinion, the whole draft should be about what can we do this year and maybe next year. As far as Highsmith's concerned, how much playing time is he going to get? And I also think I'm not worried about the schools and all that kind of stuff. Jack Lambert, I believe, came from Kent State. Roethlisberger didn't come from a big-time school. So I'm not worried about that so much. I'm looking at need and impact. And how much is he going to play this year? Again, is he going to be a special teams guy? I don't know, but I'm with Jim on that one. I think they could have probably got him. Now Phil said other teams in the AFC were looking at him, which is fine. I thought maybe they could have got him later on in the draft, if not as a free agent. I believe you even said that, Luther. Right. So him as an individual, I have no idea. I've never seen him play, so I can't actually give him a grade. But to get somebody of that ilk that's not going to be a starter, that's not, as Jim said, going to get a lot of playing time, I mean, how can you give it, in my opinion, more than he's going to be a spot guy here and there? I don't know, C-, D? And that's not him as a player because I don't know. I've never seen him play.
Right, right.
But just,
Doesn't
again,
matter.
what kind of punch is he going to add this year?
All right. Hey, Kelly, you want to jump in on this?
Here's a shock. I'm in agreement with Claudio.
That's my man.
Here's my
Y'all always in agreement, man. Twins.
great minds think alike. But to go along with the point Claudio was talking about regards to building the draft for the next few years, if you really think you can get some quality play out of Ben and make another run at a Super Bowl, you should be getting people who can help you now.
Yeah.
Personally,
Hey, Kelly, you're kind of low.
am I
What'd you
coming
say?
in better now?
There you go.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we
Okay.
thought maybe you got stung by a killer hornet for a minute, Kelly.
Oh man, killer hornets, coronavirus.
As long as you got your mask on, Kelly, mask and gloves, brother.
Exactly. I'm built Pittsburgh strong, baby.
There you go.
This. Okay, so but I was saying, if you only have Ben for a few more years, your draft needed to be built in getting people who can help you now as opposed to later. And I guess in my mind, because I'm still stuck on the Dobbins thing, I feel you should have took Dobbins on the second round and Claypool in the third, because I just feel he would have been there, and that would have been a much better draft. But I'm not too keen on the pick.
All right, what grade you? So you give that a D?
I'll something. Let's just go D. Let's not
right.
spare anybody's feelings. Everybody got their big boy pants on right now today.
But Kelly makes a great point. If they'd have had Dobbins, then Claypool, now
Claypool, I don't think Claypool's there in the third round. I don't think he's there.
that would have
We
been
don't pick to
going in the
100th
second
pick.
round.
We don't pick to the 100th pick in the second. I mean, in the third round, there was no way that he was going to be there.
Right, right. Listen, I agree with most of you guys. I think it was a clear reach. I didn't like it at all. When he made the pick, I'm like, wait, Alex Highsmith is what? I didn't know anything about him. I never saw him play. What'd you say?
I thought it was Alonzo first. That's
Right.
okay. We'll take Alonzo.
Let's hope he's not Alonzo Jackson. That was the last bad outside linebacker they picked. Oh my goodness, man. But it was a terrible pick. It was a reach. It was Colbert and Tomlin saying, hey, we got this diamond in the rough. Nobody was going to get him this high. We got him. I didn't like the pick. He would have been there in the fourth. He might have been there as a free agent. It was a complete reach. I give it a D. I hope it works out for him, but he's not playing with TJ Watt there. He's not playing with my cousin Bud Dupree there. The linebackers are our strongest unit, overall for the Steelers. And I don't understand. I don't understand the pick. It was a wasted
I am so
pick.
glad.
A wasted
I am so
pick.
glad because I'm going to look good. I'm going to look good later on.
Yeah, man, 2 years with Ben's retiring, we're trying to find the next quarterback.
Right, and they might be
We needed
a
somebody
5-win team, 6-win team by that time.
But you know what this also says? They probably won't sign Dupree after this. TJ Watt's going to break the bank. He's just amazing. Defensive player of the year candidate every year. They can't pay him and Dupree the amount of money. So
you're saying Highsmith's going to replace Dupree?
Pardon me?
You think Highsmith is going to be the
I
heir
think
apparent to Dupree?
they threw it out there as he's one of the ones battling for that position after Dupree gets about 15 sacks. They said, hey, let's get him now. That's what I think their thinking was. I don't agree with it, but I think that's what their thinking was. I give it for the first time in a minute, I agree with Jim. I think it was a D. I think it was a bad move, a complete reach, and I think he would have been there. So, Phil has it high. Most of us have it kind of low CD range. We're recording this. It's going to be on YouTube and Facebook. We'll see who's right, Phil. But sometimes you got those Steeler glasses on pretty tight.
Check this out.
Jim tells me.
Check this out. Y'all have my number, and I just wanted to hear all y'all say, Phil, you was right. That sounds so sweet.
Hey, he was right about hiring Smokin Jim, right?
Right.
That was a great move.
Yeah, for sure, man. Hey, Claudio, why don't you get us set on our fourth pick? We got the running back, a flyer, Anthony McFarland.
Okay, like you said the other day, he's a home run hitter without question. Obviously, we saw what he did against Ohio State. But again, if they use him, Connor, great story. When he's healthy, he's a Pro Bowler. I'm good with that. Okay. But if they're just going to give McFarland, 4 or 5 carries, what's he going to, he might be one of those guys who, like a Barry Sanders, I'm not comparing him to Barry Sanders by no means. He might be one of those guys who gets 2 yards, 4 yards, 3 yards, 6 yards, 75 yards, but you have to give him the ball. I think he's a guy that you have to commit to. You can't put him back there, maybe have him carry 6 times a game and hope that he gets 86 yards. You know what I'm trying to say? You have to give him the ball. You have to either say, you're our guy, okay, because he can flat out fly. He is a home run hitter without question. But I think he's the type of guy that you have to give him the ball. And if you don't give him the ball, then I don't want to say it's a wasted pick. But again, as an athlete, terrific athlete, good running back without question. Okay, but are they going to use him properly for me to give him a better grade? That I don't know what grade to give him because I don't know how they're going to use him as a performer. Yes, he's only played about 23 games, 24 games in college, but that's okay. You know that. I mean, I believe you said, Luther, he reminds you of Chris Johnson in a way. I don't get the Le'Veon Bell.
I said possibly.
Yeah, which I'm good with that. I don't get the Le'Veon Bell comparison that Reggie Bush said. I didn't get that.
Man.
I didn't get that, nor do I agree with it. Again, if you give him the ball 20-some times a game, then I'll give it a B. If you're going to just give him the ball 4 or 5 times, 6 times, 6, 7 touches, I'm going to give it a C+.
Okay, C+. All right, who we at? I think, Kelly, you want to jump in on this? I think we lost him. All right. How about Smokin' Jim? You want to go next?
I think Phil's next, ain't it?
No, actually, go to somebody else. Let me pick up something because it's starting to rain out here. So go to somebody else.
All right. Hey, Phil, you want to jump in on this Anthony McFarland? I'm trying to run some of his highlights.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see that, guys. Can you?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would love to go in. And Claudio, you're totally, I mean, I respect what you said, and that's true. But in my opinion, I truly believe he's going to touch the ball at least 12 times a game.
I'm sorry, how many times?
Look at this pick, I'm really thinking a Kamara Ingram kind of, tandem. Because what I think they know that they got something special. Connor, if he's healthy, is special. You get McFarland with him, okay, it's great. Now, also, it's twofold. If you're going to be able to give McFarland 12 carries, and you're not going to have Connor being that total 25, 30 carries, he's going to have to take a respectable contract to stay in Pittsburgh. His contract is coming up. Now, I just want to jump in.
Good point.
I want to jump in for this pick that I was going to wait for later on. But what makes this pick so valuable, guys, we got to remember this name, Canada. That is the whole key. Whenever Connor came back from the cancer, it was Canada's creativity that opens up. Now, we knew that Rudolph and Duck couldn't throw the ball, so the box was packed. You're not going to be able to do that with Canada. Canada's going to have McFarland running the jet sweeps. He's going to have all that stuff. They see what Devo did. This is part of offense and pros now. This is going to be his creativity to open up for Connor McFarland. And believe me, guys, what y'all guys said, you don't want Ben throwing the ball 40 times. So if you don't want him throwing the ball 40 times, there's carries there. There's 18 for Connor, there's 5 or 6 for Snell, and there's
Corner
12
can't last 18 a game.
Huh?
Corner can't last 18 a game.
Okay.
Give him 7 carries. He
All right.
comes back from an injury,
Guess
runs the
what?
ball 3 times. He got a new injury. Come on, Phil. You're putting too much
Okay.
credit on Corner, brother.
Okay.
I'm not high on it right now.
But the year before, he was going to lead the NFL in rushing, wasn't he?
He got hurt. Didn't he get?
He got hurt at the
every
end,
year in his
But
career.
Luther, if I can interrupt, Phil, do you kind of agree what I'm saying that if you give him, okay, you said 12 carries. If he gets 2 carries on this series, 1 carry on that series, 3 carries on that series, I mean, is he going to be able to get into a rhythm, momentum in order to break that one shot or to be not necessarily break that one shot, but to be effective? You know what I'm trying to say?
Totally
Almost
right.
like a spot starter.
he has to get the rhythm. Now, the
Right.
only way for them to do this, and some teams has done this, okay, now just picture this, they got to have the entire series. So if he's running this, say, the second series, and it's a sustaining drive, he may get 4 and 5 in that, okay?
Okay.
Now, also, too, we're going back to our great defense. If our defense is great, there's going to be more opportunity, too.
Good point.
Okay.
Good point. All right. So what's your grade on that, Phil?
Give me a B.
Another B.
You hear me?
Down Phil. Smokin' Jim, what you got on that?
Well, I gotta agree with Phil again. You know, hey, first of all, I'd have gave this kid a number 22 because Claudio, he's gonna be like Mercury Morris. Whenever he
Uh-oh.
get in, whenever he
Mercury
get in, man, they gonna know he's getting the
going
ball, they ain't
back.
gonna be able to stop it. They actually
We got a perfect season coming up.
Uh-oh.
the Pittsburgh Steelers actually, well, no, he's not on cocaine like Mercury. But the
Mercury, though.
Pittsburgh Steelers actually issued, you know, this kid number 26. So there you go with the Le'Veon Bell and Rod Woodson, and there's been some great 26s. I would hate to be
Preston Pearson.
Preston Pearson, the Shea Townsend, you know, looking out for women for Hines Ward, all that. But
Oh my goodness.
but I would hate to be running back coach Eddie Faulkner because he's going to have a hard time, you know, getting everybody a slice of the pie. They got an outstanding backfield. No matter how we feel about James Conner, the Pittsburgh Steelers look at James Conner as one of the best running backs in the National Football League. He was a Pro Bowler, so you got him. You ain't got to worry about Benny slow as a snail. He ain't getting a helmet on game day. But you got Jalen Samuels, who Ben is going to love because of his hands and his blocking ability. And then you got a home run hitter like Booger, Anthony McFarland. So listen, you can't teach speed. Speed is there, and I got to give that pick an A.
Wow.
Ooh, an A?
Yes.
Wow. Kelly, you want in?
Yeah, I want in on this. And it's somewhat, once again, what Claudio was talking about. And I felt like I was going to agree with Smokin for a minute, but here's my thing about the Steelers and the running back. Tomlin's philosophy is one back, one workhorse. And how much work are you going to really trust a rookie running back to do? And the thing is, yes, as a story, yes, James Conner is excellent. Yes, as the fact that he went to Pitt and he beat cancer, he has a lot of love from this area, from this city, what have you. However, the unfortunate thing is the best ability in football is availability. And he's just not available enough.
That's right.
Good point.
And that's not a knock on him. It's like, look, kid, we love you. We love the story. We love everything about you. We just need you to show up to work and work. Yes, when he was healthy years ago, yes, Pro Bowl running back. But this is, and the funny thing, this used to be one of my beefs with Le'Veon Bell until he started being healthy and playing. We just need to see you on the field. So I say all that to say that if they're going to, if Tomlin might change his philosophy and do something like a running back by committee with this home run hitter on the field, yes, it could work out. But I just question Tomlin's philosophy and how much work this kid is going to get.
Luther,
So
can I ask you guys a question before Kelly gives him a grade? If everybody knows Conner is not going to last, he's not a guy who can carry the ball 18 to 20 sometimes a game. Maybe do a role reversal. Maybe start McFarland, give him the bulk of carries, and then put Conner in spots. This way you can utilize him. Real quick, not to make another baseball reference, but let's say Dennis Eckersley, the Hall of Fame reliever, he couldn't make it as a starter anymore, okay, because of injury or lack of effectiveness. So then they made him a reliever. He was obviously a hugely successful reliever. He didn't have the innings in him to go 6, 7, 8, 9 innings, but he did have the ability to go 1 or 2. Mariano Rivera, perhaps the greatest reliever of all time, if he pitched more than 2 innings, he would get hammered. but he was great for 1 or 2. Maybe Connor could be worth more to the Steelers as a guy who gets perhaps 6 to 8 carries a game.
Hey, Claudio.
Yes.
Great point. But here, Kelly talked about Coach Mike Tomlin's philosophy. He shares the same philosophy as Kevin Colbert. They won't admit when they're wrong. That's why they kept Artie Burns for 5 years. That's why they kept Jarvis Too Slow Jones for 5 years. And that's why they're going to run James Conner when everybody else can see he's a brittle brother. They still are stubborn. They won't admit when they're wrong. And they're going to play James Conner like he's Walter Payton that never gotten hurt the day in his life.
Kelly, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that just popped into my head. So I don't know what you guys think of that.
No, that's actually a great analogy. It's in regards to cutting back his carries and use them in like spot duty in certain spots, like given his size or whatnot, short yardage.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's a great analogy.
You know what?
Oh, go ahead, Phil. I think that was Phil.
No, I think that's a great point. But here's my opinion on that, and that's just my opinion. I think that is something they're thinking about, but I think this year is the key. I think that they're going this year is not going to go that way. We're going to let Connor show and see if he can be that guy. You know, this is a make or break year for Connor. I think once again, this is the Steelers establishing their stable. You know what I mean? They got a stable that they know that if Connor is not going to do it, hopefully Snell's going to do that year 2 routine that Bell did and Connor did that changed his body and got in shape and became a better back. This is the key year for Snell because the previous backs, Connor and Bell, the second year is when they changed their whole body and they improved their game. So now they're going to I think they're just trying to, because we don't have too many weaknesses, believe it or not, they were fortunate enough to be able to build their stable for the future and see what they're going to do.
All right. Hey, Kelly, what grade did you give that before I don't think you gave it a grade.
Nah, I guess my grade right now going in it is a C.
You guys are brutal.
It's to be determined.
That's right. To be determined. Exactly.
All right. Hey, listen, I wanted them to get J.K. Dobbins, but I think Anthony McFarland with all that speed, you think about it. Last year, how many runs did they have over 40? 1. And that was Trey Edmonds, who won't even be on the team this year.
Right.
You're talking about a guy who had runs of 52, 75, and 81 against Ohio State. I haven't seen too many guys run like that against Ohio State. This guy has speed to burn, and I'm hoping that Tomlin's going to go away from his philosophy of just running a guy into the ground. Ended Willie Parker's career, ended all these guys, their career quick. That's why Le'Veon Bell didn't want to come back. He would have got run into the ground. James Conner can't do it. No time in his career has he ever played a full season. He was injured in college. It's just continued on. I think this guy, like you said, he'll get about 12 to 15 touches. They're going to find creative ways to get him the ball. And just the threat of that speed, I think, is going to help the offense so much. I give it a B. I'm with Phil, Smokin, and Claudio, but they have to do a combination. He's not a guy that could carry the load. I'm hoping I'm not looking at a Dre Archer or a Chris Rainey. I hope he's more the Chris Johnson type than those other 2 bums that we drafted. So I think it was a B.
But I think it was a B. Like Kelly said, though, to be determined. It's how they use him. If they just give him the ball 5, 6, 7 times a game, I think he needs to be the guy who gets 18 to 19, 20 times.
He's not getting 18 to 19.
So he can get that home run.
No way he's getting 18 to 19 with Conner.
I would let Conner get 6 to 8. I would have
Benny Snell.
No. I like Snell a little bit, but I would give McFarland the bulk of the carries because he's a guy. Again, he's got the home run, and then give Conner because Conner's not going to last the season. He's only got so many.
He had an ACL injury too. McFarland had an ACL injury in college, so we don't know how much punishment he can take. He was injured a lot this year, so we'll see. But I think
that's why, like Kelly said, to be determined.
8 to 9 carries. See if he can break a long one for you, and just have the threat of him in there. I gave it a B though. Okay. Hey, Phil, I think this is on you. The 4th round offensive lineman, Kevin Dotson. Why don't you start us off with
Yes.
that one, Phil?
I'm going to tell you, this pick here, at first, I'm going to be honest with you. I was like, huh? But then when I look this pick up, I'm excited. I'm excited about him because he could move. He's nasty, okay? I don't know why he was not invited to the combine. That's totally ridiculous, okay? Now, I'm making a prediction that he will not start day one, okay? But before the season ends, he will supplant and be the left guard, okay? You can tell your opponent the play's coming this way and still destroy. We got a diamond in the rough right there. Love the pick. A.
An A. You haven't gone lower than a B yet. Okay, all right. All right, an A. All right. Smokin' Jim.
Well, again, I agree a lot with Phil. I was very high on Kevin Dotson. You know, I loved him. I thought he was, reminded me of Calvin Beachum when he was in college. You know, this is a kid that loves football, very dedicated, and he only played right guard his whole career. A lot of guys can't make that switch from right guard to left. We don't have an offensive line coach. We got Mike Munchak's coffee boy is the offensive line coach, and they looked horrible last year. Last guy we got from Louisiana Lafayette, he had the brains of, you know, Shoeless Joe, so Ike Taylor. So I'm not sure if Kevin Dotson I'm not sure how it may take him a year to learn the plays like it took Ike, but he could have a great career like Ike. I love the pick, but again, we already got a right tackle in David DeCastro. In terms of 2020, you're looking at a backup. Now, the NFL did pass a rule this year, Phil, where you can dress an extra offensive lineman on game day. So I guess he'll be the guy, you know, holding the capes for all the linemen when they come off the field to put it on their shoulders because he ain't going to play special teams or anything else. So as far as 2020, I got to give that pick a D.
A what, a D?
A D because he's not going to help us in 2020.
Wow. Okay.
Excuse me. Everybody give me a call on this pick too, saying, wow, Phil, you was right again. But go ahead.
Phil, man, you give a lot of great grades, man. I mean, I'm just saying. But hey, Claudio, what do you have on this? We got a B and a D. What do you weigh on this one?
For me, besides the quarterback, and it's like right there, offensive line, defensive line are always incredibly important. I like the pick a lot. The thing I like about this guy, from what I read up about him, and of course some of the clips that you see, but he's played. He's 4-year starter. I do like what Jim says as far as coaching is concerned. Chuck Knox, again, we talk about him all the time, but he was a former offensive line coach, and he used to say that offensive line coaching is the most underrated and undercoached position in football. So I understand where Jim's coming from. But this kid, he's a big man. He likes to hit. He's almost like a defensive lineman as far as his hunger to hit people. I'm along with Phil as far as I think before the end of the year, he's going to start. Now, like Jim said, is he going to be able to make that transition? I think he should be able to. I don't know him well enough or have seen enough of him to say yes or no. I'll trust Jim on that one. I like the pick. I think it was a steal at that late. I think like Phil said, I think he's going to start before the end of the year. I like the pick. So if he starts eventually, then I would give it a B. If he doesn't start, again, then why the hell did you pick him? Don't worry about that. I hate when teams say, yeah, you know, down the road. Well, you don't know what's going to happen down the road between injuries and salary caps and people want traded or whatever that, right? Like Cleveland's going to be bad all the time. All the Cincinnati, forget about those teams. Steelers have a shot. They have a shot. Let's go all in because I'm telling you, who knows what's going to happen in a couple of years? You know what's going to happen this year with Roethlisberger. But let's face it, he is the key to that team.
Right.
And if he – let's not even worry about next year. Let's worry about this year. Let's get all our chips. I'm sure, again, another baseball reference, the Florida Marlins. They used to load up, win the championship, blow it up.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So let's load up for this year. If like Kelly said earlier, they went 8-8 with what they had last year. Can you imagine? Okay, they had a hell of a defense. They didn't have a quarterback. They didn't have much of a running game. Somehow they got to be 8-8. If they could put everything together this year, who knows what can happen? Let's not worry about next year. Let's not worry about that. Let's worry about now, today.
Okay. All right. And what grade you gave it a?
If he does like Phil said, eventually starts, which I like, I'd give it a B. But if they're gonna not put him in, he's just gonna be that extra shirt, like Jim said. Well then a D. I'm in for impact this year. Minka last year, great trade. He had impact last year, big time.
All
right. Yeah, you know what? I like the pick. I think he slid down. I think he could go on earlier. I give it a B minus. You know, not real sexy. I guess he'll be okay. I don't see him starting. If he's starting, we're in trouble. You know, if he's starting by the end of the year, we're in trouble. I don't want to see him on the field starting. I think he's a guy from a small school that needs some work. He has potential. But if he's starting, that means something really wrong, which means we got a bad injury or somebody, you know, played a little too long. I don't want to see him on the field this year. That's where I'm going. I do give it a C. I'm gonna give it a C on that one. But Phil, now we had a couple other picks on this one. Phil, anybody come to mind? We had Antonio Brooks and Carlos Davis. Before we get to the final one, what are your thoughts?
Oh, wait a minute.
I'm going to just go ahead.
Yeah, Kelly.
Oh, Kelly, sorry.
Hey, this is one pick that excited me. Actually, reading up and seeing this kid.
I thought you was on a delivery, Kelly. I didn't know, man. I thought you was Ubering. I didn't know if that's where the man from brother.
I literally just pulled up to the house, so I'm going to make this quick.
Okay.
Reading up about this kid and the fact that he was a second-team All-American out of Louisiana, Lafayette or Monroe, one of them schools. I am excited about this kid. But here's my question about the offensive line. Okay, they really love Chooks, but and help me out, Smokin. I believe it was Chooks, despite them loving it. Wasn't he a healthy scratch 15 out of 16 games last year?
Yeah, I hope that's the same again this year.
He was horrible preseason.
Him and Fat Zach Banner, they can sit together.
Right, and then you hear all this stuff about Banner as well. But here's the thing: they signed Wisniewski, yet part of me wants to feel they don't want to start the guy who's played and started for 2 of the last 3 Super Bowl winners,
right?
And just put him in there, which would make no sense to me. But once again, that's the Steelers. They know what they know what they're doing. We sometimes think they know what they're doing, but we always have questions. But I am excited about this pick. I like the fact that he would tell people where the play was going, and they still couldn't stop him. So I'm giving this one a B minus, and I like it. Let's just say I liked it.
Figures,
you know why, guys?
Kelly would like offensive lineman. It figures.
You know why? You know why they really don't want to start with Wisniewski? And I'm going to tell you the reason why. Is because Pouncey is probably one of the smallest centers in the game, and he's injury prone. And you don't want somebody starting at that left guard spot, Wisniewski, that if he would get banged up and Pouncey would get banged up, then you're in trouble. You eventually want to have Wisniewski being there like a Finney, being there in case of emergency, and you have a quality backup that you won't lose anything. Also, guys, watch out too. I've been reading about him. They are going to try to teach him how to play center as well.
Oh my goodness! Whoa!
You don't like that, Jim?
Hey, if you got Mike Munchak and Russ Grimm as your offensive line coach, and Joe Moore,
Jim,
you dig up Joe Moore.
What did Munchak do last year with Denver? What did he do?
For me?
What they do with Denver?
He didn't have. See what he
It
do
wasn't
this
the
year.
coach. We had a quarterback who couldn't make adjustments. You're giving him way too much credit.
You ever hear Joe Moore when he was at Pitt, Notre Dame, how they was reeling off first-round draft choices? It's important. Mike Munchak is one of the greatest offensive line minds of all time, and so is Russ Grimm. And you got his coffee boy in there that ain't got the respected offensive line because all he did was carry the water and get them donuts in the morning. So,
Listen,
Pouncey don't care about this guy.
poor quarterback play can make an offensive line look terrible. Period. A lot of rookie quarterbacks, they don't, they can't make adjustments. Look at your boy right now for the Rams. He still can't make adjustments. 5 years in.
Hey, Luther, you're drinking Clorox again. Listen, Phil is Phil is a football coach, and he'll tell you it don't matter what the quarterbacks is doing. Your job as an offensive line is to move the guy off the ball. They wasn't moving nobody off the ball against your will.
They're stacking the line.
The coach didn't make no
their quarterbacks to pass. Your boy Duck sucked. Smoking Jim, you talk all that. They stacked the line. They had 8. You couldn't run. You couldn't run.
When Bill Fraley played for
I don't care who they had.
They would win one game a year. But
how you doing, Claudio?
He would pancake this man.
Just admit it. Your boy Duck doesn't have it.
It ain't got nothing to do with the quarterbacks. Pancake that guy.
Jim, I don't know what to do with you, man. You get these guys, you cheer for them. Even when it's proven they're no good, you still back them because you don't want to be wrong. Well, Jim, you're wrong on Duck. He'll be lucky to be in the league next year, brother. You talking about he's the best quarterback on the team. He'll be lucky to be on the team.
He was the best. Him and Tyler Murray were the best rookie quarterbacks.
And that's like saying I'm the tallest one in my family.
If everybody's terrible, somebody has to be second.
Exactly.
Everybody's terrible. Everybody's terrible.
Now, was that a good rookie class for quarterbacks?
It was for the Steelers. They got the Duck.
Yeah, and that's why we're still looking for another quarterback to back up Ben. Okay,
Tyler
that makes
Murray
sense,
looked
Jim.
good. Tyler Murray looked good.
Murray, the only one.
And Duck.
Y'all gonna go here.
Duck doesn't even have a job. What'd you say, Phil?
Say I'm crazy. Y'all gonna say I'm crazy on this, okay? But this is my wild prediction about quarterback. Paxton Lynch is gonna beat out Duck because that guy there's no pressure. He has all the tools. This guy is an athlete. He's nice size. Watch. He's going to beat out Duck, and he may be our quarterback in the future.
Ooh,
man.
I think he's going to make the team. He
might make the team. Please don't say Denver said the same thing and cut him immediately.
Phil, you might be right. He got all the tools, but no toolbox.
And look what happened with Tommy Maddox in Denver. That he was the heir apparent to Elway. Then he comes to Pittsburgh. That's what they're thinking with.
But Phil's
Paxton.
right. I tell you what, Paxton Lynch.
Claudio, we're stopping the XFL on the way.
Right.
Paxton Lynch do got great size, but give me my Duck.
Oh God, he throws ducks.
Huh?
Anyway, so hey Phil. How about these next picks? We had Antonio Brooks, another safety. They love Maryland all of a sudden.
Hey,
Dino Tomlin goes there. Every year they're going to have 2 picks from Maryland.
One of the things about Brooks, they say he'll knock your head off. Now here's my thing. Now I'm going to give y'all some insight here. Pittsburgh not having the 5th round hurts us not having Khalil Hudson. If you see this Brooks at that position, they wanted Khalil Hudson there. You know what I mean? They were going to do that there, and that hurts. But with Brooks, help me out here. I think that this is going to be the key. It's going to be between Edmonds and Brooks. One of them is going to be that hybrid linebacker, and one's going to play safety. Okay, I do believe because Edmonds has a few more years left, he's going to become a linebacker in a hybrid. I hope Brooks can play more out of the box. He says he prefers to be in the box, but Brooks becomes more of a safety because right now Edmonds is the weak link of that defense. And then I'm going to jump right back down to Davis. I love the pick. He's an athlete. He's a big athlete at 320 pounds. But the thing is this finally going to be the year that McCullers is gone? You know what I mean? Is this finally going to be the year? But I want to tell you this little insight. I'm going to tell you how Davis makes the team. It's all going to depend on Bugs. If Bugs shows that he could play the DN and the temporary first down nose guard and get McCullers out of there, then they're going to give Davis at least a 1-year shot to prove his point.
Okay. All right. What do you think about those picks? What grade, if you had a grade to give those picks?
I see.
A C?
Yeah.
All right. Claudio?
I don't know enough about these guys, but I'll say this. That's where a scout earns his money.
Yep.
It's not, I don't want to say it's not hard, but the first, second, third pick, okay. But when you start talking 4, 5, 6, that's where you're going to make your money. Jim, I don't know if Jim agrees with that or not. That's where you find the diamonds. That's when you find out who are your scouts, the good scouts that can find guys that other people aren't interested in. So I really don't know enough for me to say, oh, yeah, I'd give them this grade or that grade. I haven't seen them. All I know is, again, that's where a scout makes his bones. Again, with our scouting company, I hate to put us into it. We don't go after the top round draft picks. Don't need the Global Scouting Bureau. We find the guys who other people have missed. Okay. Again, that's how a scout will make his bones. 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th round that will have impact on the team. So that's just my comment on that.
Okay, we're great.
Again, I don't know enough to say.
You're not gonna get that one. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Smokin' Jim.
Well, first of all, yeah, I don't know how Hudson slid all the way down to the 5th round. That guy got first round potential, great player for Michigan. But being that we didn't have a 5th round pick because we had to trade for a bump tight end from Seattle, again, it's on Colbert and Tomlin. Hey, listen, Brooks will hit a train moving full speed. This is a guy that will hit anybody. His future is going to be going down on kickoffs with Derek Watt. You know, listen, he's too small and too slow to play safety. Can't cover nobody, and he's not big enough to play linebacker. You know, this is a guy that you know, it was a waste to pick there. Listen, Carlos Davis is an athlete. Now, if we're starting the Olympic team, I like him for shot put distance, but as a nose guard, he stands straight up. Again, the affirmative action program is outstanding because John Mitchell been the assistant head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers for years. I still don't know what he's doing. Phil already said and Lou said we got all kind of questions on the defensive line. Carl Dunbar is a bum. Every player he brings in from Alabama, like Isaiah Buggs, that he coached is a bum. So you got between John Mitchell and Carl Dunbar, we got all kind of question marks on the defensive line. That's horrible. I give Brooks a D. I give Carlos Davis a D. Both of those picks.
Luther, if I can ask Jim that question, Jim, would you agree that a scout will earn his money, his bones, his name with the middle to lower draft picks?
There ain't no such thing as that. A 12th round pick is high in my book. A 12th round pick is high. You know, L.C. Greenwood was an 11th round pick.
Right.
You know,
okay, that's what I'm saying. Somebody discovered him.
Round pick. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, a 6th, 7th round pick is high. In my book, that's almost like a first round pick. So, yeah. So, yeah, man. You know, Kevin Colbert gets all kind of credit. They just promoted him to vice president. I don't know why. They've been mediocre the last 3-4 years. No players on the team from the 2016 draft, and his son's a bum. That's nepotism all the way down there from Tallman to his son Dino to the Rooneys and all the way
That's
down.
why Dino didn't come on the show, Smokin' Jim. All that trash you talk on his dad. Oh, my goodness. Hey, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to see if Kelly wants to jump in after. Brooks, you know, he's just a guy. Edmonds is there. I'm not impressed with him. He's the weak link. As you see, when teams started to go after, they stayed away from Minka all last year after he had all those big plays to start us off on that win streak. They started picking on Edmonds and that side of the field when they started having success. I don't think either one of these two guys will really have a big impact. They'll be lucky to make the team, from what I can tell. But maybe they found a diamond in the rough, but I don't think so. I don't think, like you said, I don't think he has enough speed to cover back there, Smoker Jim. I give that a C, maybe a D. I'd probably go with a D on that. Kelly, you want to jump in on this? All right, looks like Kelly's not available.
What grade would you give Carlos Davis?
I'm giving both a D. I mean, I don't think I'm not sure either one of them were really going to make the team.
We agree a lot.
I might be wrong then. That's what that tells me. Hey, listen, but now the next part of this, we did our draft. My final prediction, I gave it a B- because I did include Minka in this draft. I know what you say, Jim, but they gave up the first round pick because they got a Pro Bowl player and Minka Fitzpatrick, who's going to be a perennial Pro Bowler. That was a steal. That's the reason that Colbert earns his money. He really just beat Miami 18th place overall, and they get one of the best safeties in the game. Amazing. Listen, I think next year they went 8-8 last year. The schedule, I looked at it, I see at least 10 wins. The key is keeping Ben healthy. I think the defense is going to get better. They have another year of experience. Offensively, if they could even score a little bit, get 20, 25 points a game, I think they have the talent to do it. Ben is back, but that elbow, if they could keep him healthy, I think Juju is going to have a breakout year. He's going to be fighting for that Pro Bowl wide receiver spot with Ben back in there. Ben loves him. I think DeAndre Johnson is going to have a nice year. Listen, the quarterback play was so bad. I don't think you guys remember how bad it was. We were lucky if they would throw for 100 yards. I mean, the lines were stacked. Maybe Benny Snell can play, but running against an 8-man front like you're, Peterson or something is difficult. I think with Ben being there, the offense is going to be better. I see 10 wins, a playoff berth, and once you get in the playoffs, who knows? I mean, the offense has playmakers. The offensive line, I think, is going to be solid. I definitely think 10-6, depending on how many games they play. We don't even know what's going to go on, but I see 10 wins, and I think a playoff run is in their future. They won 8 with no quarterback. Duck was the quarterback, and Rudolph, who's going after guys with no helmet. Listen, you can't win with those guys.
How much they win the year before? How much they win the year before when Ben threw for 5,000 yards?
That's when Antonio Brown was going crazy. Huh? We didn't know how bad Antonio Brown was 2 years ago. But last year, he couldn't last 2 games with any team. Antonio Brown blew up the team. He's talking about Juju.
He was the problem?
He's mad he's not getting the ball. He's mad about MVP. They had a lot of internal problems. Le'Veon Bell wasn't there. Is he coming back? That messed him up the first 4 games. They had a lot of things going on. I think this year the schedule is very, very winnable. They get an 8-8 schedule. They get Ben back.
Good point.
They have offensive players. They have speed. One thing they didn't have last year, they only had one rushing player of only over 40 yards. McFarland, he can take it to the house. You have Chase Claypool. He's 6'4", runs a 4.4. Throw it up to him. They haven't had that since Martavis left.
Good point.
I think the offensive can be pretty explosive, but we're going to win with the defense. 10 wins, and I think we can match up with anybody. I know you guys talk about the Ravens. Yes, the Ravens look great. They always do well in the draft. They had the MVP in Lamar Jackson. But if you remember, we almost beat them with a duck last year. If Juju doesn't fumble, we probably go and kick the winning field goal, and that's our playoffs last year.
Same Juju that fumbled the playoffs away against New Orleans.
According to Antonio Brown, yes, he's a fumbling machine. But that's my prediction. I got him at 10 wins. Kelly, you want to jump in on this?
I'm here, Luke. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. How many wins? Any personnel predictions?
Well, actually, I wanted to go back on the point about the later round picks.
Oh, okay,
and,
jump in.
Because I couldn't at the time, but once again, I'm in agreement with Claudio in regards to this is where the player personnel people make their money. But here's the other funny thing: when they take these safeties, what is it with the Steelers wanting to get these safeties and like hybrids and play them between the safety and the linebacker position?
Good point.
I don't know what it is with them in these safeties / linebackers, the hybrids. I can't think of the technical term I'm looking for that they call that player. But
They're looking for
mediocre.
another Troy.
Mediocre.
They want everybody to be a Troy. Put them
Hey.
all over the field. There's only one Troy.
There's
You're
only
not going
one.
to find another one of those guys.
And I will say, to go. I can't remember if it was Claudio or Luther. One of y'all talked about what Minka. Minka paid dividends from the very first game against San Francisco.
Yes.
Game 1. And I'm not going to say Minka's like Troy, but dang it, if there wasn't times Minka was making plays like Troy.
Yep, no doubt.
That's true.
Or Ed Reed.
Or Ed Reed, yeah.
I'll take Troy.
I'm sorry, say that again?
No, I just said I'll take Troy over Ed Reed.
Hey, give me both, for real.
They're both Hall of Fame guys.
But get along with the point. I saw the schedule was out. I saw we start out with the Giants. I heard others talk about the schedule. I haven't had a chance to sit down and look at it. To me, this season really depends upon a healthy Ben Roethlisberger. Mm-hmm. And I know they didn't have Ben last year, but the number one thing is this team will go as far as Ben can take them. That's number one. Let's just get that out the way. 2, I think in terms of keeping a healthy Ben Roethlisberger, it depends on the running game. And what is Tomlin's commitment to either a back, or not even a back or a running back by committee, but what is this team's not only commitment to running the football, but the question is, can this team run the football? Because this is a team more years than any that they have got to be able to run the football. They got to do whatever they can to help keep Ben, if he's going to play the whole year, upright. And the main way to do that is by running the football. I would like to see it by running back by committee, but I don't have any confidence in that. So we'll see.
Right.
I really thought up until the end, Tomlin deserved a lot of credit. And I know you always talk about me that I don't give him enough credit, but when he does things, I have no problem giving him credit. I just don't give him blind credit. But there's still a bitter taste, not necessarily about how the season ended, but just how I thought the draft went. So we'll see. Time will tell. What am I supposed to be grading? What I think they're going to do this year, and the great. What am I supposed to be doing?
Record and anything you expect from any players. Record mainly.
Record 9-7. I'll go 9-7 without a full look at this schedule right now, and that's one game improvement. And considering that one extra team will potentially make the playoffs, hey, they should get in. But to go along with the point that Smokin kind of laughed about. Not only did we have Juju fumble away a game and potentially the playoffs last year, you also had Connor do that. So they got to secure the ball because, to quote Tomlin, our hopes and dreams live and die with that football. They got to work on ball security more than anything. And here's the funny thing, fellas. As we deal with the new world that we're into, let's just hope by the time the NFL season starts that there really is a season.
It will be.
Hey, listen, the NFL is the only sports franchise acting like we're not in a pandemic. They had
WWE.
They had a draft. They're going to have a season, even if they have to play in empty stadiums. Yeah. They're going to play. I'm starting to believe. I didn't think they would have the draft. I thought they pushed back free agency. Nothing is stopping this NFL monster at this point.
That's true. Because the world. It's just a question of, will it be a 16-game regular season or will it be shortened?
Right. Good point. What do you say, Phil?
Hey, I got to go, but I want to say a couple of things. One, I want to thank you all. This was awesome. This was a great time. And I do want to make sure y'all have my phone number when y'all call me and tell me how accurate that I was. But here's my predictions. 11-5. Woo. This defense is going to be the number one defense in the NFL. A healthy Tuitt, a second-year Bush, okay, a second year with Minka. And y'all heard that Minka first said He wanted to go to a team where he could just play one position and be comfortable. He fell in love with Pittsburgh. Now he wants to be moved around like Troy. Not Troy, but like Troy. So this defense is going to be unbelievable, okay? And now, if you want to hear my MVP, my offensive rookie MVP, Matt Canada. Matt Canada, some people going to say what he does in college, you can't do in the pros. Well, Shanahan saw the creativity that did with Debo caused problems. This guy, Derek Watts, now I understand why they paid him that kind of money. Because if you look at Canada's offense, Austin from Pitt was a factor because they moved him around. If you look at Bill and the talent of Derek Watts, he resembles, you know what I'm saying? He's those decoys. And here's something funny. If Jalen Samuels makes the team, okay, which he should, don't be surprised because he has the hands. He lands up in that jet sweep that they did with Claudio Henderson. He knows where he is in Pittsburgh right now. So I'm just saying his creativity is going to do dividends for this team. You know what I mean? And I'm excited. I'm excited. And you guys have a great day.
All right, Phil. All right.
Thanks, Phil.
Appreciate you coming on, man.
Hey, Phil.
All right, as we close out, Claudio, and then we'll close out with Smokin Jim. Claudio?
I am total agreement with Kelly, believe it or not. The only thing is I don't want to see running back by committee. I say put the kid back there, let him fire off McFarland, and then use Connors, in spots, Watt and McFarland. If they do that, I think they have a shot at, I'm going to say 9-7, which will bring them to the playoffs with the new format. So I'll just say it like that. There's a lot of ifs and buts and this, that, and the other thing. And of course, Ben has to be healthy, period, end of story, because that'll also help the running game. The passing game will help the running game. The running game will help the passing game. I think I would start McFarland. Give him the bulk of the carries, 20-some carries. I know it's not going to happen, but that's what I would do. What do I know? But at the end of the day, 9-7, they'll sneak into the playoffs.
Okay.
And then anything can happen.
All right. Smokin Jim, close us out.
Uh-oh.
Well, Luther and Claudio, the only thing that people have seen Ben throwing is the only thing he's been throwing is a fit. So we don't know. I've seen Joe Namath with the Rams, I've seen Johnny Unitas with the San Diego Chargers. It wasn't pretty. I've seen Terry Bradshaw arm just fall apart. But if Ben comes back and he stays healthy, this team is a 14-2 team talent-wise, but they have a 2-14 coaching staff. So I still carry the 1. So that's an 8-8 all day long. 8-8, baby.
All right. Hey, guys, I want to thank all you, man. We're out of time now, but I appreciate you, Phil, Kelly, Claudio, Smokin Jim. This was great, man. We have to do it again.
Miss you
There's
guys.
a lot of talk. I know Claudio has some guests. We got to get Khalid Hudson on. I'm holding Phil to it. A draft pick. We're going to try to get Kenny Robinson, who was on our show before, who just went to Carolina. We're going to get some of those guys on as well. But I'm excited, man. Let's keep this thing going, and I'll check you guys out next time. Check out the website, scsportsworld.com. Peace.
All right, fellas.
See it.
Okay, guys. Good seeing you.
Good seeing you. All right.